Hi guys, welcome back. Today I know it's Wednesday and that normally means a new recipe. However, I thought I would do something a little different today. I decided to go over my knives with you. This is going to be kind of a fire five for kitchen tools / knives. So these are your top knife necessities that I think everybody should have in their kitchen. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my favorite. This is a Santoku knife. It is basically a Japanese chef knife. It's lighter weight than a standard chef knife. It's also a different shape, and it's also got these little divots along the edge of the blade. Those divots allow for things to not stick to the knife when you're cutting, like potatoes and cucumbers, onions. All those things tend to stick to the knife, and that helps that not happen. Also, because it's a lightweight, thin knife, and it also has those, you can end up with super thin cuts. And those cuts are really important in some aspects. So this is my go-to knife. I use this instead of a chef's knife. This is everybody else's, or a lot of people's, go-to knife. It's your typical 10-inch blade chef's knife. These are great, and I do love them. They are still a necessity for certain things, like cutting through bones and cutting through bamboo skewers and stuff like that. You really need a standard chef knife. They are great. I just personally prefer the Santoku over it, but that's a total personal preference. Either way, you need one of these two or a similar type knife, whether it's a chef's knife or a Santoku. Both of those are Messermeister Meridian Elites. I got them when I was in school, but any good knife will do. My next knife that I use probably as often as the Santoku knife is just a basic paring knife. I think everybody needs to have a small knife in their kitchen. It's really important for those small cuts, for piercing potatoes, for all sorts of things that you could ever use a little knife for. This is the one to go with. This is just a standard 3.5-inch paring knife. Also a Messermeister Meridian Elite. Just kind of a great paring knife. Next is this little one right here. This is a very bright and fun knife, which is kind of nice. And it's just a basic serrated knife. I use serrated knives not just for breads, which is what most people use them for, but I also use them for the softer vegetables and fruits, like tomatoes, that are going to smush instead of slice if you've just got a standard blade. Now granted, if your blade is super sharp, you shouldn't have that problem, but I just find it's easier to get even cuts with a serrated blade. So I always have this one in hand. I also have a 10-inch blade over in my on my knife strip. However, I find that one's just a little awkward to use. It's a little bit big for everyday use. It's great for cakes, but I'm not baking a cake every day. So I tend to use this one more often. It's the perfect size. The next two are not knives, but they're just as important in my book. And one is a good pair of kitchen shears. These are the ones that separate into two pieces, which makes cleaning a whole lot easier. They're just kind of a good pair of scissors to always have, whether you're using them to cut twine, to tie things up, to cut through cooked chicken, or to use it to cut chives. No matter what you use them for, they're just a good thing to always have. So I definitely recommend these. The better quality ones that you can get, the better, because these I've had for years. They're still super sharp, and they're just kind of a great pair of scissors. So I definitely recommend a good one of those. Next, I get so much use out of this, it's ridiculous. This is a microplane. You can use it for just about anything. They've got different size ones, and quite frankly, I have, I think, 7 or 8 in my drawer, and this one probably gets the most use out of all of them. I use this for zesting fruits like oranges, lemons, limes. I also use it for grating Parmesan, for grating chocolate, and most often probably nutmeg and garlic and onion. Now, it is a little fine for most people for garlic and onion, but it does make a super quick paste out of it, way easier than using your knife to paste it up. So I definitely recommend a good microplane. They're all over the place nowadays, super easy to get your hands on. And you can also get ones like this that have replaceable plates. This plate just pops off and I've got different size plates to put on it. Makes it super versatile, plus it's got a nice heavy duty handle and it's green. But this one sits on my knife rack since it's metal and it's always super easy to get to, and I just pop it off the knife rack, use it. They are a little complicated to clean, but they're still definitely worth the investment. They're not very expensive nowadays. So that's it for like the 5 tools, but I did want to also throw in here a little bit about honing steels. Now, most people who have knives have at least one honing steel. This is going to be your classic one that you get with any knife set that you buy, with any block set that you buy. There's going to usually be some sort of steel in it. This is no different. All this does using a standard steel is realign the blade to make it seem a little bit sharper. This one, on the other hand, is a diamond steel. Diamond steels do take off a layer of the steel. In doing that, it sharpens your knife for you. It's one of the quickest and easiest ways to sharpen your knife, but it is a little bit more finicky on how you need to do it, because you do have to get the angles correct, or else you'll end up with a blade that's not as sharp as it was when you started. If you guys would like to see a video on how to sharpen your knives using a water stone and using a diamond steel, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. That way I can go ahead and know if you're interested in doing that. And if you have any knives that you think are a necessity, I would love to hear that, so don't forget to leave me a comment with that below. And I hope you guys have liked this Fire 5 video, which is, if you haven't watched the last Fire 5, it's the top 5 things that you would take with you if there was a fire and you had to get out of the house. So these are my top 5 knives and kitchen utensils that I would take with me in a heartbeat if something was happening. So I would love to hear what yours are. Leave me that in a comment below. So that is all I've got for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't worry, there will be another recipe next Wednesday. Bye guys.